And I kept wanting to bring that up, but I just felt that I couldn't.
You really listened to your instincts, and I commend you for that. I mean, that is the sign of a seasoned analyst. He obviously wasn't ready to hear that. I'm proud of you.
Thanks, that's why I didn't say anything.
The film Assholes is a family project, directed by the older brother Peter Vack and played by his actual sister and parents, who are psychoanalysts. They're all playing themselves, they're all obsessed with themselves and each other, and it's funny. One of the plot drivers is the handsome older brother giving his pretty little sister an STD via the bong they are smoking, and how this causes her to start dating a loser fat guy and eventually mutate into an actual asshole.
These dialogues between the sister and the brother in the beginning are very good. And that then you find out, or you can see that the parents are also played by the real parents, and they are really brother and sister in real life.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole film is also sort of a family project.
Yeah.
That mirrors or copies the hierarchy within the family, with this golden boy Peter, his sort of quirky younger sister, awkward younger sister, who is elevated by him.
Yeah.
Because she makes him feel good. She makes him cheerful or something.
Yeah.
And the parents who go along with this because everything they do in life is sort of designed or molded to create this healthy, investigative, therapeutic environment for the family.
Yeah.
And creative as well.
Yeah.
So in that sense, it is like an asshole. It's like in itself completely, this whole family. Up its own ass. But they're actually all quite, like, the perverted feelings come from actually saying everything you feel. Like, if you feel a slight discomfort, you will just say it. And everything becomes larger. But they're all quite adept and experienced at doing that. So they also know, you can tell that in real life they probably know how to handle these emotions which seem extreme once you expel them, like let them out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think, so the film is kind of an experiment with the what if we were not adept at handling our own family culture, and it would sort of spiral out of control, and you would have all these demons of our sort of inner innards coming out.
At a certain moment, an actual demon comes out of the ass of the younger sister.
Which is a mythological desire, like a desire for the world around you and within you to be mythological, more exciting maybe than it really is. But the problem is, like, I think the function of taking that mythological desire seriously is that once you see these demons, once you give them a form in your art, they should be an opportunity to maybe also grasp the gravity of those demons, which are always there. I mean, they're always there. But the film stops there. I think it doesn't really take the demons, doesn't go into the... Once the demons come into the film, it becomes a little bit ridiculous, everything. And then you get the parody or the pastiche with what you just said, like the heartland kind of media.
The film unfortunately ends in a lame satire on American television.
When she was a baby, she was like really quiet. And she was like the sweetest, most easy child a mother could ever imagine having.
Yeah, because in the beginning, when the brother and the sister have the conversation where he starts copying her, which is funny.
I just told you that I'm sober. You didn't know that. And then you go into
the...
Wow.
Which is also good and interesting, and you see her insecurity, which is probably real in a way, or it feels very real.
Yeah.
Like she's acting herself, and he is also. And his sort of depressed boredom that he displays by playing with his little sister in that way, wasting his time also. And then that develops into where she's standing over him next to his bed with a knife. So you see, oh, she wants to kill him now. She's so frustrated that she's thinking of killing him. And that is where the idea of the demon is born, this Mephistopheles, which will grant that wish or something. But maybe that's not the right demon.
Why not?
Yeah, because could there be a confusion between calling out when you're sitting in a session with your analyst, like, I would just wish I just want to kill my brother.
Because he doesn't give a fucking shit about me. And guess what?
And then mistaking that for the demon that is inside of you or something. Because the demon, I would say, is more like this fear of being unattractive, not being able to find someone to love.
Good luck, and see you later.
Wait, Aaron. What are you doing in 45 minutes?
What are you trying to get your mind around now?
The fact that I was enjoying the film for most of, actually, I think for the greatest part. It's really just once you start to feel that the ending is going to be sort of droll, sort of.
Not hardcore.
Yeah, that everything loses kind of rigidity and it becomes pulp.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lack of gravity, like or ability for gravity, or I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would have needed some kind of Deus ex machina there, or something that would have happened, like how in Crime and Punishment you have this weird pedophile Svidrigailov, sort of conjured up out of thin air, who is sort of. You have the guy, the murderer Raskolnikov, who then all of a sudden is confronted with this Svidrigailov.
Yeah,
who
was going to marry his sister.
Yeah, it was sort of darker, deeper,
More fucked up than Peter Vack himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in this film, the brother and the sister reign superior in their fucked upness. They're the most fucked up sort of people in there. And then the fat guy, he's charming and he's comical, but he's sort of a product of them.
You know, I see a girl on the street, I'm just like, I used to be like, oh, what would it be like to see her naked, you know? Or what would it be like if she, you know, to be in a relationship with that person? But now it's just like, wow, I wonder what her asshole looks like destroyed.
Quiet! I have an announcement to make. I am in love with this woman. I am in love with this woman's perfect little asshole.
Sayonara, suckers!
Hey, we're in love. We're in love. We're in love. We're in love. Hey, fucking dickhead. We're in love.
Yeah.
An appendix of them. And I think what Dostoyevsky does very well with his characters is introduce a super character that looks down upon Raskolnikov. I think in Crime and Punishment he does it 2 times by introducing the inspector.
Mm-hmm. Porfiry
and
Svidrigailov.
Yes. These 2 characters are sort of beyond Raskolnikov.
Yeah, because you have Raskolnikov who is who writes an essay about how you have to be a Napoleon in order to manifest yourself.
Yeah.
but he's just this loser student.
Yeah.
And then he concludes that he has to murder someone to do something like Napoleon.
Yeah.
And this is sort of... There are two forms of megalomania in there. One of them is represented by Porfiry, who is going to discover what he did, who's going to find out that he did something unlawful.
Yeah.
And the other one is actually the nihilistic component of killing someone else. That Raskolnikov sort of tries to obtain by killing someone. He wants to obtain that nihilism.
Yeah.
That grandeur of that. But then Svidrigailov is like the ultimate nihilistic, dark figure who I think also kills himself in the end, right? Yeah.
He doesn't need a symbolic act.
Yeah. Who is just in his own psychology and also in this Peter.
He kills himself.
Yeah. But not... Yeah, but... And yeah, anyway, that's brilliant. And then... So that's how Raskolnikov's pettiness...
Yeah, of killing someone else. The pettiness of killing someone else.
Yeah. Becomes...
Enormous.
Enormous, yeah.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's brilliant script writing.
Yeah.
That's insane, you know?
Yeah.
You get goosebumps just by explaining that book.
Yeah. And also because it's... This Svidrigailov appears when you're quite deep into the book. And you already feel you're very impressed with this sort of thriller element between Porfiry and Raskolnikov, the detective and the murderer.
Yeah.
And you think like you're quite content if it would just go on like that. And then this Svidrigailov comes and you think, how can you even imagine someone who is that sort of that evil in a way, so beautifully evil?
Yeah.
Like where does that come from?
Yeah, true self-destructiveness.
Yeah.
Which, in fact, matches the sacrifices, the self-sacrifice that Napoleon is willing to make for the stuff that he believes in.
Yeah.
It's a great solution also for writing a sort of coming-of-age book, which is Crime and Punishment.
Mm-hmm.
It's a book about adolescence. And I think this Assholes is also about adolescence.
Yeah, because it's about how part of adolescence is letting go of your family, or actually struggling your way out of the family dynamic.
Yeah, which is also what happens in Crime and Punishment with the sister and...
Yeah, and the expectations your family have of you and the culture in your family.
Yeah.
And then that's why it's interesting to see that this Aaron or Peter Vack character does that by becoming an analyst just like his parents.
Yeah.
Because it means that he's betraying his sister.
But those things are very nice, right?
Those things are great. Yeah, I think that's a very good, like, original turn. Maybe he could have sort of encountered a patient that would have been completely out of another world to really burst the family bubble, rather than, yeah, doing this sort of turnaround of highbrow, lowbrow culture where his sister, his whole family just becomes this reality TV drug addict.
That would have been a solution. Okay, so he becomes the psychoanalyst. So
Yeah.
he becomes his sister's worst nightmare.
Yeah.
His sister is still this junkie, and there's this patient that really,
like a Tony Soprano kind of patient, like a real erotic force.
yeah, for him.
Yeah. Because the film also starts off with him talking about this STI, this sexual transmissible disease that he has, which also then goes to his sister and then goes to, yeah. But that's about his sex life, right? And how he doesn't want to fuck without a condom. But this doesn't find a...
How he doesn't want to fuck with a condom.
No one uses condoms, especially not if it's a guy like me who's like, you know, and a girl who's fucking a little white bitch who lives in her fucking in a mansion her dad
So
bought
if
for
you're
her.
white and you're having sex with a rich white person, you don't need to use a condom. That's the most asinine thing you've ever said, and you have
You said it, not
so
me.
many.
this doesn't progress anywhere. Him thinking about himself or talking about himself as sexually active or something, it's just it could have gone somewhere.
Yeah, I think that would be the solution.
Yeah.
That would be a very good solution.
And it would somehow also take the pressure of this narrative of Betsey and her boyfriend wanting to kill him, which is not strong enough to be the core narrative.
Yeah.
The core plot. Because they're junkies.
Well, I think it's amazing how long it lasts.
Yeah.
How well it goes, you know?
Yeah. Well, because you do get to see like a documentary element within that. When they're filming these sort of drugged up pursuits, a lot of it is sort of documentary material of that family making a film. Mm-hmm. Which is interesting, I think. Which is enjoyable to watch.
I think Betsey's amazing.
Yeah.
Also in this footage.
Mm-hmm.
Very charismatic, don't you think?
Yeah.
Unlike her role in the Dasha film, Scary.
Yeah.
I mean, Dasha sort of like just sort of sticked her in there or something in that film.
Yeah, Dasha took the Betsey in this film and stuck her inside her own film as a trophy.
Yeah.
But it also took away her. But now you sort of understand the exhibitionism and that's this weird, ironic dynamic with her brother.
She pretty in this film also.
Yeah.
Also because of the thing on her lip and stuff, you know, like this. I think this is all very important.
The way in which he plays with conjuring up feelings of disgust and. Yeah.
It's more performative.
Yeah, because it's with like, you know, with their brother to get like that I know that we know. That we're making fun of this situation or something.
Yeah. And I also think he's an amazing actor, Peter.
Mm-hmm.
And the fat guy is also amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all amazing.
Yeah.
And even the parents are amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just thinking that I also enjoyed the kind of the set, the house.
It's beautiful. It's very well done. Like there's a lot of sort of Ryan Trecartin spin-offs.
Mm-hmm.
In filmmaking, but this didn't also had these elements, these Ryan Trecartin-esque elements, but there was no problem there. It was really
well done.
Not well done, but it like really had a purpose.
Yeah, you know? Yeah. Well, I think this psychoanalytic New Yorkian culture. I mean, just the fact that you have so many artists coming out of New York whose parents are psychoanalysts or who make work about psychoanalysis and, of course, who have pursued this path, this Woody Allen path of making art about your own neuroticism, which is also a Jewish heritage, which we don't know very well in Europe because we killed all the Jews. So it's like it's very familiar at once, but it's also strange for me to see because it's not. I know that it's also part of our culture, but it's not really anymore in a way. And I think that tradition is really about intimacy, really connecting on an expressive basis with your own family members, which is of course also very intrusive. And if you read Philip Roth, then you see how it really also traumatizes people, and these are real traumas. But it creates something very powerful, which is that the bubble of the family is huge, and just as the bubble of New York is also very huge in the world. It's as if you have this New York is also this very intimate family where people tell each other all these feelings that they have, and they become very very good at that, and they are in that sense also dominant, because they blast away other cultures' abilities to be nuanced, to express themselves. Which of course is nice. It's nice to be dominant, but it's also kind of lonely, and its weakness is that that it's not being challenged. So you sort of blubber about and you become this asshole, and there's nothing to stop you from being that asshole, because the whole world feels like you're inside your own family home, and you're just talking about your neurotic, you're complaining about your neurotic family to your own neurotic family. And the lack of resistance is, I think, the real demon. That is where the desire for some kind of demon comes in. You want a demon to resist that asshole that you are, so that you can feel some kind of feel you can test your own powers. You don't want to be intimate with the whole world. For the reason that it is, it's like nauseating. Just like you don't really want to remain inside the intimacy of your own little nuclear family the rest of your life, not the one that you were born into. You want to build your own family. I had a memory.
Yeah? What?
Well, when we were at this party of Mai Spijkers, the publisher,
Yeah.
my ear suddenly plopped. I couldn't hear anything from one ear, which was really annoying. I am already very socially awkward, and then I couldn't hear anymore. So I went to sit in the toilet, just thinking, what am I going to do now? What's also really funny is that I wasn't able to solve this problem, and then I came back and I went back into the garden, and there was Yoeri Albrecht, who sort of has become our nemesis, because he did some things on the stage, where he interviewed us and suggested that we were involved in a violent act, and this is because the kind of art that we make, and it was all very unpleasant and suggestive, and as a result we were also cancelled after that. So he became this, in my mind at least, and also especially in Tariq's, he became this huge figure. So he was standing there in the garden, and I thought, okay, I have to go and speak to him.
With his one ear.
Yeah, and then there was, so we were having this discussion, and actually it was interesting. Like, it would have been interesting to watch. There should have been cameras on me, on us. But because I had this ear, I was constantly, like, during this talk, I was constantly doing this, like trying to, like, I couldn't help myself. I was doing...
Plop it back.
Trying to plop it, because I couldn't properly... So I was going like this, and then I was going like this, and at some point he said, how do I even know that you're not wired now? And I at that moment, I didn't realize that he was probably freaking out because I was doing this all the time. I just said, like, I'm not wired. I was standing there in front of him, like, very round and pregnant in a tight dress. Like, I thought, what are you... But then now I remember that...
What a dork, huh?
Yeah. But then when I was sitting in the toilet before this, with my ear... There was this guy who came down. He was a bit like a friend that we know, like Eduard, this type of male energy.
Annoying.
Yeah. Like, both confident and insecure at the same time. And
small dick energy.
Yeah. And he started to say to me, I was sitting there, and then he came to sit next to me. I think he thought I was probably drunk or something. But then he saw that I was pregnant, and then I said to him, no, I know you think I'm drunk, but I just have this problem with my ear. but I saw him, like, the rest of the evening, I saw him try to flirt with other women. But then once he had them in the flirt zone, he would start pushing them away. And what he did with me was he started giving me advice on how to solve this problem. Like, he said, okay, you have to blow on your... You have to have someone who blows on your nose. Like, this doesn't help because then you keep it closed. But if you keep your nose open and someone else blows on it and you close your mouth, and it plops out. I've done this with my daughters, he said. And then I said, so you want to do it? Or what? Like, what kind of a suggestion is this? Are you going to do it, actually? Or are you going... I mean, if he would have been unabashed about it, I maybe even would have let him do it. But then Mette was there as well. So I said to Mette, will you do it? And then Mette tried to do it, but we were just laughing. It was not possible. Like, it's too intimate, you know, to have someone, another grown-up blow on your nose. So Mette was failing, and he was sort of, in this Eduard kind of way, making fun of us for failing at this endeavor. And then I said, okay, so do you want to do it? And then he said, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it, as if I was sort of the one who, who proposed this whole thing. And then I thought, oh, okay, well. And then I went back in, and then I saw Yoeri, and I had this discussion with him. But...
What else happened before you encountered Yoeri on this party?
Oh yeah, another thing happened is that my best friend was there as well. And we both recently had children, and we are in this completely harmonious era of our friendship, which is, by the way, a very long friendship because we've been known each other since we were 2 and 3, and we are now in our 30s. So we've had many eras, and this is, I think, this is really the golden era in a way. But she did something that reminded me of when we were still sort of competing, like competitive teenagers in a way, when we were going to the same school and so on, had the same kind of ambitions, and she asked me where my dress was from, and like I realized I was wearing a dress that I got from that was probably advertised to me on Instagram, but which I bought because it's from Spain, and most of the things that come from Spain I fit. Other things I don't, because people are just too tall in other countries. So that was sort of the motivation to buy that dress. And then she said, yeah, but you do that too often. You buy clothes that are advertised to you on Instagram too often. And you can tell from the clothes. I really and then she sent me, like, you should also buy some more expensive designer stuff. And I have an address for you. I have a like, she sent me an email, like a newsletter that she's signed up to in this store in Amsterdam which sells designer clothes. I really felt like a rush of anger, you know. I thought, you bitch. Yeah. But in a way that was kind of a nice nostalgic feeling also.
To be angry with your bestie.
Yeah. Yeah, we also saw the dear widow of your deceased aunt.
Yeah.
He was there because he's published his historical books that hardly anyone reads. He's been having them published there for, I think, maybe 15 years or something.
100 years.
100 years. He's in it. He's probably in his 80s now. Still writing. He always displayed like a brutal lack of interest and understanding of what we were doing from the very beginning when we started making our films. Which was always obnoxious, but then you were in his house, you were visiting your aunt, and you just deal with that. But now you encounter him there, and we were invited there as well because we might do something with the publishing house. All the media forms and art forms are sort of changing at this point in time. So maybe there's this kind of fusion that can come from literature and film. But of course he won't understand because he's 80 and he writes these books that no one reads. So he asked you, "What are you doing here?" Like he was genuinely surprised, but also like confounded that you would be invited to this publishing party. And at that point, like he was also so feeble, so old, so vulnerable there in this party where everybody was drunk and almost like stampeding over him. And so he was clearly looking for like someone to hold on to. And then I saw you escaping his grasp, and then I felt him finding me and latching on. And I thought, like, if there is but one thing that I do at this party, it is that I have to escape these clutches. Because they are the clutches of death. And, like, I think only because I'm pregnant was I able to sort of take the opportunity when someone offered me my drink to turn around and walk away.
What did you think about Mai Spijkers' performance?
Yeah, it was good. It was like enough to make the party a success, I think.
His speech?
Yeah. Like the fact that he would have said that, the context of which was that 2 months ago there was this article by a sort of vengeful ex...
Ronit
Palash, his ex...
employee
who wrote a long read about how awful he is. I mean, how he would...
The sort of lame Harvey Weinstein attempt.
A lame Harvey Weinstein attempt with no sexual misconduct, but with, just nasty boss behavior. Calling your female employee... shouting at your female employees like, "Oh, is it that time of the month again?" Or so, things like that. And, but it was... I think when the article came out in one of the big newspapers, Dutch newspapers, there was this sort of brief moment where everyone thought, "Oh, this is going to be a real problem for Mai. He's going to have trouble now." But he is the most successful publisher in Holland. Like, he's earning the most money. He has this huge house on the canals and he has a lot of property elsewhere. He's doing fine. And none of his employees and none of his writers, maybe one of them who wanted to go anyway, left or betrayed him or whatever. So he could do, like, at the party, he could do this sort of glorious speech basking in this fact that, yeah, actually he is untouchable by these Me Too tendencies.
But I heard this guy next to me saying... Again, it's only about him. He's only talking about himself in the speech.
Me. Ik. Yeah. Yeah, but I don't think... the speech itself was clever in that it also acknowledged that he is an asshole. It wasn't like this whiny speech in which he's talking about how he's not an asshole or something, which would have, of course, been a total failure.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoy our practice and want to see it thrive, support us by donating and telling your friends about us. Become a patron on our website and enter the patrons room. www.kirac.nl